Hello friends, welcome back to our new video, that is MCQs on biochemistry, and this is the part 7 of this series of videos on biochemistry. So the first question of this video is, the proproteins of enzymes are called as option A zymogens, option B proenzymes, option C both A and B, option D neither A nor B, and the right answer is option C, that is both A and B is the correct one. So the proproteins of enzymes are called as both zymogens and proenzymes. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. That is, the energy source that directly causes bacterial flagella to rotate is called the option A hydrolysis, option B ATP hydrolysis, option C GTP hydrolysis, option D torsional strain, and the right answer is option A, that is hydrolysis. So the energy source that directly causes bacterial flagella to rotate is called hydrolysis or H plus ion hydrolysis. So let's move on to the next question, that is question number 123. That is, erythrocyte resist shearing force traveling through narrow blood vessels because they contain the meshwork of option A glycophorin A, option B spectrin, option C hemoglobin, option D myoglobin. So the right answer is option B, that is spectrin. So erythrocyte resist shearing forces traveling through narrow blood vessels because they contain the meshwork of spectrin. So next question देखेंगे. Next question is, electron flow in cytochrome oxidase in the respiratory chain can be blocked by option A rotenone, option B amytal, option C cyanide, option D cyclohexamide, and the right answer is option C, that is cyanide. So electron flow in cytochrome oxidase in the respiratory chain can be blocked by cyanide. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, that is question number 125. So which one of the following statements about prion proteins is correct? And options are, prion proteins form cross beta filaments, prion proteins are heat resistant, prion proteins are protease sensitive, or option D, prion proteins can convert the normally folded prion protein to pathological form. And the right answer is option C, that is prion proteins are protease sensitive. Okay, so this is the main thing, correct answer about the prion proteins. So let's move on to the question number 126. So here 126, the high concentration of myoglobin in marine mammals allow them to option A respire at lower rate, or option B remain underwater for longer period of time, option C reduce the effects of osmotic pressure due to extra oxygen load in their body, or option D, that is withstand large change in CO2 concentration in muscle, and the right answer is option B, that is remain underwater for longer period of time. So higher concentration of myoglobin in marine mammals allows them to remain underwater for longer period of time. Okay, so next question देखेंगे. Which of the following enzymes is not responsible for dissipation of hydrogen peroxide? And options are ascorbate peroxidase, or catalase, or guaiacol peroxidase, or superoxide dismutase, and the right one is option D, that is superoxide dismutase. So superoxide dismutase enzyme is not responsible for dissipation of hydrogen peroxide. Let's move on to the 128. So which of the following is not a function of molecular chaperone in protein folding? So options are, molecular chaperone assist in protein folding into their correct structure, option B molecular chaperones specify the tertiary structure of a protein, or option C, molecular chaperones can stabilize partially folded proteins and prevent them aggregating with other proteins, or option D, molecular chaperones can shield and protect exposed hydrophobic regions of proteins. And the right answer is option B, that is this one, molecular chaperones specify the tertiary structure of a protein. So the so which is not the function of the molecular chaperone in protein folding. This option B is not the function of the chaperone protein in protein folding. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, that is 129. So biological systems are essentially isotherms or homotherms, mesotherms or poikilotherms, and the right answer is option A, that is isotherms. So biological systems are isotherms. So let's move on to the next question. So select out the correct sequence according to increase in complexity. Option A, fructose, maltose, triose, starch, and then at last oligosaccharide. So we have to arrange them into increasing complexity. So the option B is fructose, then maltose, triose, oligosaccharide, then starch, or option C, maltose, fructose, triose, oligosaccharide or starch. And the last option, fructose, then maltose, then oligosaccharide, then starch. And the right answer is option B, that is fructose, that is where the that is a monosaccharide, then maltose, disaccharide, triose, trisaccharide, oligosaccharide, then starch, that is polysaccharide. So let's move on to the question number 131. So all the following statements about the structure of glycogen are true except option A, branched chains occur about every 10 residues. Option B, it contains alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkages. Option C, it contains alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkages. Option D, it is a copolymer of glucose and galactose. So the right answer is option D, that is it is a copolymer of glucose and galactose. So this is the exception. So all these three options are correct about the glycogen. The exception is the option D, that is it is a copolymer of glucose and galactose, that is wrong. So let's move on to the next question, 132. So cellulose is a constituent of option A, all higher plants, option B, all algae, option C, all higher plants, many algae and some fungi only, or option D, all higher plants as well as lower plants. So the main constituent of cellulose is option C, that is all higher plants, many algae and some fungi. So next question is, all the following statements describing lipids are true except they are structural components of membranes. Option B, they are poorly soluble in water. Option C, they are intracellular energy source, or option D, they are usually associated by covalent interactions. So the right one is option D, that is they are usually associated by covalent interactions. So this is not the true about the lipids. So this is the exception. Okay, and other three options are correct about correctly describing the lipids. Okay, so next question देखेंगे. Next question is 134. Which of the following is a phospholipid? And options are sphingomyelin, oleic acid, or option C, prostaglandin, option D, glycogen. And the right answer is option A, that is sphingomyelin. So sphingomyelin is a phospholipid. So next question देखेंगे. The molecule in the Kelvin-Benson cycle that combines with carbon dioxide is glyceraldehyde phosphate, or option B, ribulose bisphosphate, or option C phosphoenol pyruvic acid, or option D citric acid. So the right answer is option B, that is ribulose bisphosphate. So the molecule in the Kelvin-Benson cycle that combines with carbon dioxide is ribulose bisphosphate. Next question क्या है? So next question, when parathyroid gland is surgically removed from a mammal, the blood level of option A calcium and phosphorus increases, or option B calcium and phosphorus decreases, option C calcium increases while that of phosphorus decreases, or option D calcium decreases while that of phosphorus increases. So the right one is option C, that is calcium increases while that of phosphorus decreases. So when parathyroid gland is surgically removed from a mammal, the blood level of calcium increases while that of phosphorus decreases. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, that is tetrodotoxin, a highly poisonous toxin from puffer fish, acts on option A sodium channel, option B potassium channel, option C chloride channel, option D calcium channel. So the right one is option A, it is sodium channel. So let's move on to the next question, that is question number 138. So which of the following statement is correct? So options are option A, the energy liberation by dissimulation is used directly for synthesis of cell constituents with no interlining energy trapping system, or option B, that is dissimulation of nutrients provides the building block for the synthesis of cell constituents with no intervening energy trapping system, or option C, that is synthesis of cell constituent is on energy is no energy liberating process, or option D dissimulation is an energy requiring process. So the right thing is option B, that is dissimulation of nutrient provides the building blocks for the synthesis of cell constituent with no intervening energy trapping system. So this is the right statement. Okay, so let's move on to the 139. Excess of neurotransmitter causes increase in the number of active receptors, decrease in the number of active receptors, inactivation of all receptors, or modification of receptors. And the right one is option B, that is decrease in the number of active receptors. So excess of neurotransmitter causes decrease in the number of active receptors. So let's move on to the last question of this video, that is during the biosynthesis of urea in the urea cycle, the two nitrogen atoms are derived, that are option A two free ammonia groups, or free ammonium group and aspartate, or both nitrogen atoms are derived from arginine, or option D one nitrogen atom is derived from citrulline and one from glutamate. So the right answer is option B, that is free ammonium group and aspartate. So during the biosynthesis of urea in the urea cycle, the two nitrogen atoms are derived are free ammonia group and aspartate. Okay, so these are the all 20 MCQs on biochemistry in this part 7 video on biochemistry. Okay, so thank you for watching this video.